I'm Stephanie Sage with Sage Restoration, and this morning I am lucky enough to have the Julie Towner here with me. Welcome. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, she's with Towner Communications. And before we get into Towner, I just wanted to kind of talk about your entrepreneurial history. I mean, you definitely have the entrepreneurial spirit, if anybody does.
I would say I'm quite the entrepreneur. So a little bit about my background. I actually come from apparel manufacturing, and I worked at Gap in Miami in their sourcing and vendor development office for about 5 years. It was one of my first jobs, an amazing company to work for, and I have to say that it probably taught me quite a lot about how businesses ran, best practices, and just all around how to work, which I feel like a lot of people aren't taught how to work.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Why don't you expand on that a little more?
So they're taught their skills, they're taught how to enter POs, they're taught how to, work spreadsheets and pull pivot tables, but they're not taught how to be a great employee. They're not taught how to be a good team member. They're not taught that when you come to a meeting, you bring a notebook and you take notes. Those are things that I think that we're lacking in school, and that's really what I credit my experience at Gap Inc. for. So I'm very, very grateful, and I feel blessed that I got the opportunity to start my career there.
Now, did you do work in clothing stores in high school? Or were you always interested in retail?
I was never interested in retail, which is funny. What I was interested in, and I really should have been an engineer, but
So you love numbers?
No.
No?
I was gonna say very
Math,
typically and stereotypically, I don't like math. I don't love numbers. I don't care about the DiffEq, the differential equation, or anything like that. But I was really taken with how a product is developed and taken through all of that R&D, then actually manufactured, then actually delivered to the customer, to the store, and all of what went into that
to get it to the consumer.
Exactly. Which I think
the whole
is
process.
Exactly. Which I think is why being a business owner is something that comes fairly natural to me. So after I worked there for about 5 years, they were getting ready to do some reorganization, closing the office in Miami, and I got.
Did you love Miami? It is the coolest city. I went there with the Enterprising Women.
Yes. Every day that it is cold here, I think of the bad decisions I've made in my life that led me
to Kansas City.
I love Kansas City, but Miami, you can't.
You don't move here for the weather.
You don't move here because it's lush and ocean and sea breeze and tan people. But so I had the opportunity to move to San Francisco or to New York and stay with a company. I decided at the ripe young age of 25 that I did know everything.
That's pretty novel right there. I mean, that you would admit that.
Yeah, well,
usually you think you know a lot when you're young. You know a lot sometimes.
I was a genius at 25, and so decided to purchase an existing clothing store. This was in 2008 when the
bad recession.
The Great Depression hit.
I think we were teetering right there. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like we're just ready to fall off that cliff as far as our economy goes.
It was August 2008. I remember looking at the financials. Now, when I say I don't like math, I like business math. I like P&Ls. I like balance sheets. I like cash flow statements. I like dissecting those businesses like that. But November 2008 was when the bottom just completely fell out. So we were scrambling.
Hard times.
Yeah. I was my only employee. I worked a lot with interns and actually developed an internship program with one of the universities that I graduated from. And so had a lot of help that way and utilized a lot of help, utilized a lot of partnerships and a lot of you scratch my back, I scratch your back sort of
Which is the way business works a lot of the time.
Exactly, and
you gotta have those relationships.
It got us through. So being in St. Louis, just much like Kansas City, there are a lot of extremely wealthy people, and at this time, these folks were feeling very guilty for some of the purchases they had made, some of the things they had in their closets, and
because times were just so tough.
Times were tough, and they felt
I'm wasteful here.
Yeah, they felt wasteful, and it was people who owned billion dollar companies who are very recognizable, and you know, if they're seen in St. Louis walking around with, you know, 3 Gucci bags and a Chanel belt and, you know, all of this.
When there's starving construction workers out there.
Exactly.
Or starving mortgage people.
Yeah, or starving boutique owners who had to move back in with their parents.
Never a good thing.
Not a cute look when you're single and trying to date. So, but I made it through. So what we did, trying to lower our overhead, our inventory was our only overhead, obviously, than our lights and our rent, was we went in, we cleaned out those closets, and we turned into the very first high-end consignment store of its kind in St. Louis.
I love that, though, because you totally flipped your business and thought outside the box, totally on what's going on in the economy. That's an entrepreneur. I think
literally, literally
that's awesome.
In a month, we ran a campaign called, my store was called Bird.
How'd you get that name?
I got that name from the old owner. They called her Mother Bird.
Oh.
So I was like, why change what people know? Kept the name and ran a campaign called Flipping the Bird.
That's awesome.
If you know me,
I can't imagine that.
Yes,
really.
That got a lot of press in the Business Journal. Got a lot of press in around the St. Louis and even Midwest area, and we totally completely went from a store that was failing, that was getting ready to close its doors even before I purchased it, into a highly profitable company. This was even before the Real. It was before some of those stores that are online like that.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
And then we really stepped up through the interns. We really stepped up our social media. Through social media,
which was really new back then.
Very new.
Very new.
I
think I didn't even join Facebook till like 2010 when we started our business. I didn't
I
even know it existed.
I was 2008. I remember
you were like one of the newbies.
Yeah, Janice Abrams was my first friend. It was she's my first friend.
You remember your first friend on Facebook? I have to say I don't remember my first friend.
Well, we were time wasting at Gap, which is probably why they closed the office.
Oh, so you're to blame for the downward trend in sales at Gap.
Yes. So we really ramped that up. We started selling more online than in the store. I was worried about getting enough inventory to provide the goods, and that was not a problem at all.
We had all the guilty people with a lot of money with some cool stuff.
Yeah, much to my surprise, it was very easy. Like I said, we flipped the store in less than a month, and it was a completely different concept. But all of the press that we got landed us with a lot of free advertising with magazines like Elle. We were in Lucky. I was an MTV Made Coach twice. One of them didn't air. I don't think
that has to be disappointing. Like
it was disappointing, but the first one was so amazing, and I am so proud of Michaela. She is this phenomenal basketball player. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman, and I've watched her journey, you know, from when she was, I think, a sophomore in high school, and now she's actually going to play for the new WNBA basketball team in St. Louis. So
very cool.
Very exciting for that.
Yeah.
So that's my retail side. One of my very good clients came to me and told me that she was thinking about buying a nail salon, and I said, well, that's ridiculous. Because what do you know about nails other than you get yours done?
Yeah.
And I just kind of offhandedly said, you know, if you ever want to buy Bird, just let me know. And it was a very quick turnaround. She wrote me a check. We went through the process, and that's how I ended up here in Kansas City.
So you made some pretty good bank on a losing proposition in a short amount of time.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And
very
again,
impressive.
I attribute that. I think it's, especially for females, having mentors, and whether they're a male mentor or a female mentor. I remember one of the very, very high ups at Gap Inc. kept in touch with me over Facebook, and hey, how's it doing? How's the store? What's going on? And he said, you know, why don't you just take a different approach? Why don't you just see what you can do? And I did, and you know, that's the power of mentoring, and that's the power of being open to learning.
I do think there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are not open to learning, or I have a thirst for knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm always open to learning, but I've met some that kind of have that, they don't need help, they don't know it
100%.
all. And I think that's arrogance is always dangerous, I think.
Arrogance is always,
it's a downfall for most people.
yes, there's a difference between confidence and
Yes.
there's a difference between arrogance, and
Most
confidence
definitely.
is great, but when you are arrogant, usually your business will fail.
I believe that too.
If you're not open to learning, and if you're not open to learning
Or change.
or
Yeah.
all different levels of business, then, you know, really, what are you doing? There's no growth, there's no innovation, and our world, especially with technology,
Yeah.
is changing so fast that if you don't have a
Nimble.
if you aren't nimble, and if you don't have a tribe around you, or if you don't have they don't even have to know that they are a trusted mentor of yours,
Right.
then you're really doing yourself a disservice.
Most definitely.
And like I said, I know, I mean, I'm probably the biggest feminist in the world sitting here, but it's okay for females to have male mentors.
Oh, most definitely. You can't
It's
go
okay.
being a man
It's okay.
hater. I mean, you know, well, I have
Yeah.
a husband and a son.
Yeah.
You have two sons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't want to be in a mindset. And I've had a lot of men support me
Yeah.
in my business, and I've some that don't.
Yep.
They're always going to have that. But, yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
My favorite quote, and every time it pops
This
up,
down there? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
my
Yeah.
favorite quote I got from an ex Rams player at the cigar bar in the Ritz-Carlton in St. Louis, and he said, "You got to put balls behind your dreams."
Very true. I'll attest to that.
And it's true. I think about it every day, and you know, that's why it's important to set goals and to make those goals timely and reach them, because I can tell you that there is a goal that I haven't met quite yet, but I think I'm gonna get there.
You know you'll get there.
Yeah, I'm thinking this close.
Just when will you get there?
When
Yes.
will I get there? And that is a lake house at not Wrist Lake. Oh no, at Lake Viking.
Oh, where's that?
That's up north.
Oh.
It's a nice lake. Please
Come down to the Ozarks with us.
I want to. It's so long. It's so long
it
of a
is.
drive
Well, we
now.
get to our place, and we can get there in like 2 hours and 10-15 minutes if we don't stop.
Oh,
Not too bad.
sometimes I have to pee.
Well, then, yeah, then it might take you 2 hours and 20 minutes. Well, that's
So,
exciting, though. You'll achieve that. I
yeah.
know you'll achieve
Oh.
that dream.
I'm looking at land this weekend.
Awesome.
Their lots are like $1,000, so I think I got it.
Yeah, I think you got that.
I think I got that. Anyway.
Didn't you mention too a while back to me that your father, because I wished I would have had an entrepreneurial spirit back when I was just even in high school. I was from a family that thought that way.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know I had that in me until later years. But then you said that I thought your father was kind of a mentor to you. Maybe I heard you wrong.
No, you didn't hear me wrong. So my mother is, of course, the backbone, and I am a saint.
Wow.
I can do nothing wrong in her eyes.
Nice to have a mother who has your back like that.
And she will make it happen. She will step on anyone to make sure that her little baby. But my my father's family, they come from a medical background, and they have a pharmacy, a very successful pharmacy in a very small town, so it's easy to be super successful when you have a captive audience.
Right.
But it's fourth generation, and you know, my dad always told me, as horrible as this sounds, it is not horrible. my dad always told me that pretty.
This should be interesting.
Yeah. He always told me pretty girls are a dime a dozen, and I'm really not that special. There's always going to be somebody prettier.
Well, that's good advice though, because it isn't all about your looks, or it isn't. I mean, it's about who you are. But when you're young, it's harder to understand that.
And I don't think he meant looks.
No.
He meant there's always somebody. There's always someone that's better
than you, or whatever.
And you have to work hard. You can't rely on just pure talent. There's hard work. So
well, there's a lot of people that don't have the talent, like in sports or in business, that don't necessarily have. They're maybe not as smart as somebody that they're competing with. But I think, well, for me personally, we always joke we're not the academians. We're just like workhorses. Yeah. And I look back and I just think my success has really been probably hard work, perseverance, and just refusing to give up, and a little luck along the way. I mean, a lot of it can be that simple.
100%. You don't have to be a Harvard graduate to be a great business owner or to be a great at anything. You just have to work hard.
And you do have to have a head for business, though, because I do agree that not everybody has what it takes, because, and I don't mean that to be derogatory, but it's not for everybody. It is for the faint of heart. I mean, you have to hard work. You got to learn as you go. You have to be a quick learner.
You have to be a quick learner.
Business fast.
Yeah, you have to think outside the box. You have to be. We actually purchased my husband's family's business because that's what I wanted to do, and he was very risk adverse, and I am not very risk adverse. I make very calculated, educated risks, and so far, knock on wood, they've worked out for us. And that's how we've really grown our business, is taking those chances and being open to innovation and really listening to what's going on out there.
Right.
I think that my husband is extremely, extremely smart, but my husband will stay up at night thinking about little things, and he doesn't have a gut. He doesn't have that strong...
that instinct.
That's...
I roll on my instinct.
Yes.
A lot. I mean, not that I don't think about it, but you got to trust that inner voice to me, what it's telling you, and really think it through, or let it settle for a while. But yeah, I think
you have to
instincts are important too.
You have to have a tough skin, and you have to...
Yeah, mine's getting thicker every year. Real thick,
You have to also know that you are going to take some things personally, especially with your employees. We're very family oriented, and as hard as people would like to think that I am, they all touch my heart a little bit. But you can't take things personally as a business owner.
Yeah, it's hard. You have to learn to do that. And
you have to be okay with, sometimes you're going to make people angry. Yeah. And sometimes you're going to lose clients. And you know what, clients? Sometimes we can fire you too.
It's just not a good match. It's not a good match.
It's not a good match. It's not a good match. So that's about me. What else do you want to know?
That's a pretty exciting story there.
Yeah, I'm ready to retire.
So am I. I'm working on my exit strategy. In fact, Connor is our exit strategy, but it's not going to happen probably in the next 3 to 5 years. But yeah, we're working on that too. Well, let's talk about, you have been, you are currently the president of NAWBO, and we're both members of NAWBO on the board. It's an amazing organization that all of us there are just so loyal to and dedicated to. So how was your year being president?
Well, my year being president has been really great. I think being attached to the national organization is extremely important, and congratulations, President-elect. So there you go. So the National Organization of Women Business Owners, I always have to think about it because I'm slightly dyslexic as well, supports women business owners of all sizes. So that's from your one-man shop all the way to your multi-billion-dollar companies. And I think it is so important that women understand the advocacy, they understand the journey that it has taken for us to be able to become business owners and to become successful and competitive business owners, to understand what it's like to treat each other with respect.
And have each other's backs.
And have each other's backs.
Stabbing in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I think our biggest enemy as women, and please don't comment on this in the comments, is our biggest enemy is other women.
Which is a shame. It's
horrible.
Yeah.
I want my friends' businesses to be as successful as my business is, because when I have my house on Lake Viking, I want us to all be able to go on the boat together and drink margaritas.
Well, I do too. Sign me
know.
up.
But we can do business with each other. We can grow. We can educate each other. And I think also too, the importance of the organization is that we do get so stuck into our day-to-day business, which is a huge mistake as a business owner. If you are 100% essential to your business, you're making a mistake.
And lowering the value of your business per Valerie Vaughn with AFAX.
It's the truth. But knowing the laws, knowing the regulations, knowing, as boring as it is, the tax laws, but also it's only been 30 years since we could get a loan, right?
Isn't it? That's insane.
Yeah.
When we learned about HR 5050, I kept running that through my mind. So like, how crazy that is.
Yep.
And even really the equal rights. Man, it's
I
not even
was just
passed
gonna
yet.
say.
So that's even crazier.
Equal rights, I think is, again, please don't quote me on this. Equal rights, I think, is only about 4 or 5 states away from passing, and that's been in legislation since before I was born.
Yeah. And then women, this is the 100th anniversary this year, I guess, or
Of
2020.
suffrage.
Well, yeah, of women even being able to vote. And so that was, for me, it's important to, educate young girls. I'm talking like my little granddaughter's 4. And I want to talk her up and build her confidence. I think it's so important starting from when girls are little, because it's that talk that you hear, or the way maybe subtle little things that you're supposed to act a certain way, or you're bossy, or we're always Bias. We're not assertive aggressive. We're always the Bia when we have to take charge. So I just think that inspiring young women, young girls, and to be whatever they dream of is possible. But also remember that we've come a long way in a short amount of time, and we have a long ways to go.
Yeah. We have a really, really long way to go. I worked for 3 months for a company locally here. It's a major company, and I got called into HR, and they told me that even though I knew more than my boss, I needed to not perform as well, and that I was a little too bossy, and I picked up my purse and walked out.
Well, I would say the boss is probably a little insecure. Let's say a lot insecure. She
no longer works there.
Okay.
Too. But
because you're supposed to actually hire people smarter than you.
Yeah.
Or are better at something than you that isn't your forte.
My success in my business, and also with NABO, has been putting the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
Because
and I'm going to need your advice. So I'm going to come to you.
I'll tell you who to get.
Yeah.
We will recruit. Because that's how we see things grow. If I hire people that I don't even, he's gonna kill me. I don't have a phone on my desk, and that's by design. I don't know how to work our phones, and that's by design. Because if I get so sucked into the day-to-day and I start telling the experts who went to school to do this, how to do their job, I'm doing a huge disservice. And we've doubled the size of our business, and actually since we purchased it from Keith's parents, we've actually quadrupled.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So, and I attribute our last year's success to all of the mentorships and all of the relationships that we've built, and NABO's been a huge part of that. And if we can do business with each other, and good business, I would never go to one of my NABO sisters and say, hey, can I get a discount on that? By the way, I need to talk to you about my basement.
Speaking of discounts.
Speaking of discounts, I need a foundation guy.
I can direct you in the right place.
So I think that's really important. And I have a couple of really good friends who own businesses, and they like to get out the measuring stick every once in a while, and I'm like, you know what?
I'm not like that either.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
My measuring stick is bigger. It's fine.
Yeah. For me, though, you can't compare what let's say the business I've sent you and you've sent me, because we're in totally different businesses.
Exactly.
Like our price points are not even close, or they're totally different services, products, whatever. So as long as I feel like somebody's got my back and tries to send work my way, whether it's themselves or a referral, that's all that matters to me.
I think referrals are huge.
Mm-hmm.
I had a retreat yesterday, and one of the guys was giving his presentation, and I know he thinks I wasn't paying attention, but now he knows that I was. But I was emailing, hey, XYZ, you need to talk to XYZ. Mm-hmm. Hey, XYZ, you need to talk to XYZ. I sent him 3 or 4 referrals on just accountants, CFOs, attorneys for collections. And I think that if we're not good referral partners, and referral partners without expecting anything in return, I think that goes a long way.
I mean, you do want to get business, but sometimes, I've just learned over the 9 years that you just cannot take some of that so personally, because sometimes just because somebody doesn't refer you work immediately or that year, I mean, you just never know where that connection will lead, or 2 years down the road, maybe they'll send you a big book of business. It's about building the relationships and building the trust, and then people get to know what you do.
Yeah.
It can take a while. It isn't just this magic science. It's a combination of everything you do every year that you're in business.
Well, people ask us all the time, how do you get business? Is it through, are you in B&I? Are you in these? Are you in that? And the fact of the matter is we build relationships, and we try to do a really, really good job. And I have had people come to me and say, I need a phone system. And I know that my solution is not a good solution. Right. So I will refer them to my competition, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, because maybe you're too big for them, and they couldn't. Your system's too much for what they need, or it costs too much. You're doing them a favor, and you're helping. I mean, we refer work to competitors too, and they refer work to us. So
if we all can just play nice.
Yes. Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
We're solving the world's problems today. I knew that this was a show that was meant to be.
I'm never going to be invited back.
No, you're interesting. I'm going to make you come back like every quarter at least.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, so who is somebody that you admire or aspire to? That they're your person,
Oh, business-wise, I don't think that it is anybody I aspire to. I think it is more important for me to make the people who are in my network and who guide me, like, if you know me, you are so sick and tired of hearing about Vistage, right? You don't want to hear about it anymore, but I'm sorry, you're going to hear about it, because that's how important I think it is. But we had our overnight retreat. I used to be the only female in a group of, I believe, 18 of us. Now there's another female, good friend of ours. She's a great fit. But we had our overnight retreat, and hearing the stories of these men and hearing them talk about not just their businesses, but their personal lives, and sharing their advice, and me getting to share my advice with them, and us just sitting around ideating.
I love that. Great minds in one room.
Well, it's so powerful, and we're trying to do that with NABO. So we're trying to do that with the NABO circles. Yeah. But I don't aspire to be anybody. I aspire to make those people who sat around that circle yesterday and who sit in our meetings proud. I aspire for them to say, I know Julie, and she is not only a great entrepreneur, she's not only a great person to do business with, she not only has integrity, she's just a good person. Right, exactly. You're helping other people with your knowledge and your experiences. That's that's interesting. That leads me into my next question of what's your definition of success? My definition of success is, if you follow Towner Communications on any sort of social media outlet, you will know that our office is extremely, extremely family oriented. And my belief is that if I have 2 small boys, and if I want to be able to go to their preschool graduation, which is tonight, which I think is a little ridiculous.
I know. I know.
But if I want to go to that, or if I want to go to a field trip, or if something happens in my life and I need to focus around those 2 little people, that everybody in my organization has that right and has that ability. My youngest son was raised until he was 1 year at our office by every single person in our office, even
That
the
is
technicians.
important.
We have one of our technicians. He's got a, I believe, 4 or 5 month old now. Same thing. We are a family, and I don't want anyone to have to worry about having to miss work because their babysitter is sick, or because their child is sick, or because school is called off for the 5th week.
I know. This winter was
nobody
brutal.
went to school this winter, and
all the moms were getting a little stir crazy.
Yeah.
Like Carrie Bingham, who owns Monkey Business, she was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
The moms were like a little grouchy.
Yeah.
By like what, April? We had that. It was insane this year.
Well, and these children come in, and they're various ages, and they are playing together, and they are working together, and they're drawing on our chalkboards, and they're playing at they're calling each other. They're business, buy, sell, trade, like.
So you're truly a mentor. You're mentoring the little ones, the wee ones of the world.
And so that's success to me, that our children and our team, our family, and that's the first thing we ask in an interview is, we're a very transparent company, we're a family oriented company. Are you okay with that? Are you okay that a baby might vomit on you? Because it might not happen, it will happen.
Because you're going to get baby duty at least.
Yeah.
One time a year. No.
So it's just a place where people come in and they're successful. Of course, I want the private jet and the yacht and the
house at the lake,
the Bugatti sitting outside. Who's the guy who runs Amazon? I don't know, but
vats of wine, expensive wine just flowing.
I make way more money than that Jeff guy. But I just want a happy place for people to work.
That's awesome.
Sometimes working sucks, and if you're happy to come to work, and if you enjoy the people you work with, and you don't have any other worries in your life, that's success to me.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
You always have stresses, but when you have your own business, I mean, once you've built it up to a certain level, there is some, you feel like you can cruise a little bit.
Yeah.
And, lead people.
Yeah.
Like you do. That's awesome. Let's see. Well, I guess we're winding it down. It's been 30 minutes. So how do people contact you, Miss Julie Towner?
Since I don't have a phone on my desk?
Yeah, she doesn't have a phone, but she does have people answering their phone.
I do. We do. If you need, yes. Through our Facebook, it's Towner Communications, I believe.
You'll find it. Just search. It's easy.
Just search. She's probably tagged me in this already.
I did. I tagged her in this.
But if you want to contact me directly, I give out my email address. It's jtowner@townerkc.com, and I would love to talk to anybody. We work with Amethyst Place, great organization.
Really cool.
We work with Cristo Ray, great organization, great school. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, look into those 2 things. It will help you mentor and help you grow your business as well, and I think you're important. So.
Well, you are a remarkable entrepreneur, and I had so much fun hearing your story. I knew a little bit of your story, but very interesting.
Well, thank you.
A lot of experience.
I try.
You do. You try hard. Dang, girl. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for
coming on my
having
show.
me.
So much fun. All right. Everybody have a great day out there.
Bye. Thanks.